Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie and today we'll be unboxing my huge Writech pen haul. I will also be showcasing my new and improved on pen swatching hack, so if that sounds good, let's jump in. So the first set of pens I'll be sharing are these Writech sign brush pens. I've already purchased a set of my own and now I have all three colors. So I'm super excited to get these out and swatch them. If you like to do any brush style lettering in your planner or journal, you are going to love these pens. They are so awesome because they are small tipped brush pens, but still firm enough for beginning to intermediate users to be able to use them within a small space like a planner or a journal and still get a really clean look and feel. So I have updated my pen swatching technique and have included this free printable for you guys in case you like this technique and want to do it for yourself. Basically, I made this printable to make it easier for me to swatch my pens and attach those swatches directly onto the pen. I found that the labels that I was using in my previous version of this hack weren't sticking down as well as I wanted them to, and they were being affected by any kind of sun exposure as well, I think just because of the thermal nature of the label paper. So what I decided to do is to print out a swatch template onto whatever paper that you tend to use regularly for journaling or for planning. I do a lot of printables, so I have a paper, my HP 32 paper, which I went ahead and printed it on. And now I am going through and just adding a bit of color to each one of the boxes there on the sheet in order to transfer those onto the pens as soon as we're done. I'm not doing anything specific. I just really want to see the ink color in its true form on the paper that I'm going to be using it on, and then make that part of the pen so I don't have to constantly reference a separate sheet of paper when I want to do my pen selection for my theme or color scheme. Having it directly on the pens I find is so much more useful because you can get a true color match to whatever design you are doing within your creative journal or planner. So I've got 3 sets here of these Writech brush pens and I love them. Like I said, the color selection is great and that fine tip brush pen is awesome for brush lettering in a small space. Next, we're going to be reviewing these Writech retractable highlighters, which are new to me. I am in love with the color selection for these. I've never really used retractable highlighters, but I'm kind of excited for the idea of this, that I don't have to take the pen cap on and off. I can just click on, click off. We'll see how they hold up over time as far as drying out, but so far they all seemed fairly inky, no dryness, out of the box, which is good news. I'm also going to swatch each one of these and basically do the exact same method on my printable sheet that I've already created. There's a lot of boxes on that sheet, so that should cover you for a pretty big selection of pens, just one printable, and I'll show you how I plan to actually attach those to the pens shortly. So more about these retractable highlighters. The color selection is very comparable, I would say, to a mild liner set, the soft pastel tones, but there seems to be some colors in here that I feel are missing from the colors in those mild liners. I do love my mild liners. I like that they're dual tipped. That's the only downside for these, is that these are basically just chisel tip highlighters versus being like a dual tip pen with a bullet end on one side and the chisel tip on the other. But I could still see myself using this in multiple ways in my planner for not just highlighting, but maybe for creating checkboxes, for underlining. You can really use that chisel tip to do a nice fine line too at the right angle. So I could definitely see me using this set of colors in various ways in my planner. And like I said, I do love the color scheme. I have 2 boxes of those in the 2 available color makeups. Before I forget, all of these products will be linked down below in the description in case you want to grab a hold of these for yourself. So I've already went ahead and swatched those out. Next, I'll be showing you guys a newish set of pens to me. I don't do a lot of gel pens in permanent ink just because I tend to need to erase quite a bit, but I was really excited to see the colors that are available in gel pens now. I haven't shopped for gel pens in forever, so just seeing what was out there and the lovely colors that are available really got me excited. So this first set is a set of 8 in a 2-in-1 style pen where you have the color as a clicker on one side and then another clicker for just black. So you don't have to have multiple pens if you want to just have one gel pen in your stash. It gives you the option to have one or the other color. So I'm just going to swatch those out as well. If you're a gel pen person, I could totally see using these in your planner, specifically with that dual black and a color option on each pen to save space if you are maybe traveling with the specific pen that you are using for the week or the month. The next set, I just loved the look of these pens. These are also gel pens and they are colored. I wasn't sure at first because of course I started with the gray one, which was black ink. But the rest of them do match up with the color of the pen of sorts. So there's a nice variety of colors here too. And I really do think that they hit it out of the park as far as the color selection. The colors are bold enough to be able to be seen fairly easily, but also neutral, muted, tonal, not just primary bright colors, which I feel like kind of take away from the aesthetic of our planner sometimes. So I just loved those options. And then the look of the pen, just very clean and minimal. Love the look. Finally, we're going to go through these 2 colored journaling kit sets of different pens. I got one in the red and pink, and then I got one in the blue and the green. These have a variety of pens in each pack so that you can basically color code your planner with just these pens and have a variety of options instead of ordering different sets and curating the pen types yourself. You can just buy this set in specific colors and have various pens at your disposal. So there are a couple of gel pens, a couple of highlighters, same as the retractable ones that I showed earlier. There are a few dual tipped pens as well. I have a brush tip on one side and a very fine liner tip on the other. There's also like a dual tip brush pen, which is a little bit thicker, but also has a brush tip and a bullet tip on the end. So the sets are almost the exact same. They also both include a 04 tipped black fine liner as well, which I didn't bother to swatch because it's just black, but you can see the rest of the options there since I didn't have most of those pens already to show you. And I like that the colors are all matching up, so if you wanted to create a color-coded theme, you're ready to go. There were some options in there that I will probably need to explore a little bit more because I really like that dual tip set that was in there. And I have some already from Mon Ami that I really like. So I was really curious to see if those are also available from Writech in a similar pen format, which it looks like they are. Finally, I'm going to swatch out this set of fine liners. I actually have this set already in my stash. I've been using the 03 tip in my faith planner and in my memory keeping section of my planner. But I thought I would showcase this set again because it's been a while since I showed it. I will say that these take just a smidge longer to dry than, say, a Micron or other fine liner like that. But otherwise, I really love that the tip is rounded on all edges so that you don't get that sharp edge that you sometimes can get with fine liners. And I'm excited to have this set again in my stash to use throughout my planner. With all of these pens, there was no ghosting on my 32-pound paper that I'm using here. All of them sat on top of the paper, no bleed through, even the black ink, and looked great on sheet as well. Okay, so I have my printable pretty much all filled out with swatches from my pen sets. And now I'm just going to cut it down into strips to prepare it for placing onto those pens. I designed this printable to be used with standard tape dispensed out of a little plastic dispenser that you use for like gift wrapping, that kind of thing, to make this as easy as possible to put onto the pens. I am always looking for more efficient ways to do things, you guys, and this way I thought would be the easiest to get a fairly clean swatch on each pen with minimal effort. So I'm just cutting them down into the individual sets that I swatched out, and now I'm going to get them ready for the pens themselves. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the sign brush pen sets that I started with, and I am going to, like I said, use it with just basic tape. I'm going to set the paper down so that the swatch side is on the sticky part of the tape, and I'm trying to find the best method to do this at this point. I'm sorry that that is off camera, but basically the easiest way I found was to lay the tape down on its non-sticky side onto the surface, and then to lay the swatches on top of it. Then I'll go back and cut these down into the individual swatches and place them onto the pens. The reason that these are designed as is so that there's a little bit of tape on each side of the swatch for placing onto the pen to hold it down onto the pen. That, like I said, is the most efficient way that I found to make this swatching as untedious and as unpainful a process as I've found to date. The labels were really easy since they're already sticky all the way around. I thought that that would be the easiest way to begin, and it was, except for the label just had trouble sometimes sticking to the edges of the pen. Now, I will say I did have a few pens that didn't want to stay down, but it was only some of them, so I think it had to do with how closely I matched up the sizing of the edges. So if it was pretty even on both sides, it tended to stick a little bit better than if I was a little bit off center with my paper cut versus where I was laying it down onto the tape. So just an FYI on that. But overall, I'm hoping that this will be a better solution long term for my pen swatching, since I did struggle quite a bit with the labels not staying down. I'm also kind of firmly pushing them onto the pen just to make sure that that tape is working. The other thing I was thinking that might be even better is to use packaging tape, which is quite a bit thicker. That could be another solution if you are having trouble with your tape sticking to your pens as well. Again, it kind of just depends on the pen, the placement, the thickness of the paper that you're using, that kind of thing. So just some things to keep in mind. But I will say that overall, having this pen swatch directly on the pen is such a time saver for me. So it makes this process worth it, even if it's a little bit cumbersome to set up in the beginning. So you can see I'm getting into a bit of a groove here. I basically have each set in order already, so it makes it easy for me to just cut off each swatch and put it directly onto the pen as I go. Some of them I am shrinking down a little bit because I am hoping that that will help those adhere a little bit better. But for the most part, just cutting each square down and placing it directly on the pen. So like I said, I've included the free printable of the pen swatching down below in the video description. So do check it out if you want to swatch your pens as well. use this technique to organize your pen set. So that's it, friends. All of the brand new pen sets I got from Writech. Hopefully you guys found something new to you that you found interesting and may want to explore. Do check the description down below for links. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!